Hello everyone. Before we get to the video, I want to take a moment to tell you about the Take Care Men Mental Health podcast that I'm doing with my co-host Andy Wilmer, aka the Opinionated Brit, here on YouTube. I encourage you to go check out Andy's channel. There's a link in the description. We just released episode 2 of the podcast with our special guest Garrett Smallwood, aka the Shaving Disciple, here on YouTube. I encourage you to check out the link to his channel in the description as well. In the episode, Garrett shares his own mental health challenges. We discuss what is normal and how to deal with loneliness, and we also get to do a fun trivia quiz. You can check out the podcast in a variety of ways. The easiest is going to takecareman.com, where you can listen to the podcast and also access links to the podcast on Spotify and Podbean. We are still working on getting it on Apple Podcast. At the end of this current video, I announced an opportunity to win a soap and balm set, which I will ship anywhere in the world, and the giveaway is related to the podcast, so listen up for those details towards the end of this video. I also want to bring your attention to a video on the Whisker Assassins channel. Drew recently invited me on to have a conversation about shaving gear envy and overbuying shaving gear. We had a lot of fun, even got into discussing music a little bit. You can find links to that video and Drew's channel in the description below, and I've posted the video in the video section at takecareman.com. I think you would enjoy Drew's channel. He has experience with videography and speaking on camera, which you can find out more about in the video we did together. And he often does 2 camera shoots on his shaves, which really makes his videos interesting. So do please check out his channel, Andy's channel, and Garrett's channel. Again, all the links in the descriptions below. Now let's get to Cades Cove. Hello everyone, welcome to the Take Care Man channel. My name is Todd, and it's time to do something we haven't done in quite a while, and that's a shaving video. And so today what I have for you is Cades Cove from Talbot Shaving, and I have the soap and the splash from Maol Grooming. So we're going to get in here and try this out. So I'm going to wet the face, come back, and we'll get started with the shave. Take off the glasses. I'm using a synthetic brush from Grizzly Bay. There's the coin and end of his brushes. John there at Grizzly Bay, who last I looked was on a bit of a hiatus, maybe back by now. I'll put a link to his brush page, or his page, in the description below, along with all the places that you can get this soap and splash. So the last shave video I posted was the third in the series featuring Tennessee artisans. And while this is not a Tennessee artisan, what we do have is a site in Tennessee being honored by this soap, and that is Cades Cove, which is in the Great Smoky Mountain National Park in East Tennessee. Part of the Great Smoky Mountain National Park, about half and half actually, is also in North Carolina, but the Cades Cove part is in Tennessee. And this soap is starting to lather up pretty quickly. I'm going to do a face lather, but I'm getting it loaded here. You may hear my dog barking in the background. The notes on Cades Cove are a delicious bouquet of sun-kissed sagegrass wrapped in a honeysuckle that dries down into a subtle summer sweet blackberry, and then over time you get notes of pine and green notes. So I'm not sure if that's intended to be in both the soap and the splash, or just the splash, although fragrances within soaps do tend to dry down as well. A lot of soap scents are linear, meaning they don't really change. Sorry, I keep bumping into the mic there. Now I think my cat's trying to break in. Some of you may remember that one of the Tennessee artisan shaves I did was actually in Smoky Mountain National Park. Used the Lakewood Soap Company's Smoky Mountain Rain on top of Klingman's Dome there in Smoky Mountain National Park, which is also the highest point in the state of Tennessee. By the way, I'm using a Merkur 43C, not 34C. It's the same head as the 34C, except it has sort of a cigar type stainless steel handle. And so this is certainly reminding me of Cades Cove. If you're not familiar with Smoky Mountain National Park, so a lot of it is by the name, as it would indicate, smoky, not from fires or anything like that, but from the mist that rises off of the mountains. There's a lot of rolling foothills around the Smokies, and so you get sort of these, little peaks and valleys with smoke rising up, or steam or fog rising up from the valleys, and hence they get the name Smoky Mountains. And the weather changes there quite a lot. Quite a lot, particularly if you're on top of the mountain. And one of the best days, in my opinion, to obviously visit either one is on a sunny day. And when I say either one, I mean either the mountains or Cades Cove. And Cades Cove is basically a sort of wide valley area formed by the mountains. Having a hard time aligning what I'm doing here because I'm actually shaving in the computer screen. There are a lot of old homestead or home site locations there, and about 3 old churches. When you go to Cades Cove to visit, what you do is, or what most people do, is you tour it by car, and you can get out at these different stops. It's, I believe, an 11-mile loop around Cades Cove, and there's several stops along the way. And it's a good place to see wildlife, bear and deer and turkey, stuff like that. Let me dip the tips here a little bit more. It's dried out a little bit on me. But I'm definitely getting the sage grass. Actually, where I grew up in the country till I was 13, we had sage grass in behind our house, and so I'm familiar with that scent. So this is evoking a lot of memories. And to me, this is, while it's got that herbaceous note, or that herbaceousness of the sage, you're also getting sort of this fresh, clean scent in there as well. And it does remind me of what it's like to be in Cades Cove. I am getting a little bit of that honeysuckle sweetness coming through. So it's sort of a nice blend of the sage and the honeysuckle. So you kind of get this, prairie or field accord, if you will, instead of like an individual sage, grass, or the honeysuckle. Maybe a little bit of the blackberry. I do get some of the pine in there as well. Let's go against the grain. Can't remember if I said what blade is in this 43C. It is a Kai blade on its second use. I use this razor and blade combination in my last shave that I did, which was off camera. Can't even remember what soap I used Meta Nectar. Actually, I used an apricot and sandalwood soap that I won as part of a raffle. So it was kind of a limited edition soap, and I don't even know the artisan's name because I don't think they sell soap normally. But if there is, I'll put a link below. I'm kind of talking about a past shave, which is not relevant to this one. Anyway, my whole point is that in that previous shave that was off camera, I actually nicked myself a few times on like some bumps and kind of breakouts around the normal goatee area where my goatee would be. And, with Cades Cove being here in the southeast, and I actually lived in East Tennessee when I was doing my doctoral work there at the University of Tennessee in Knoxville. And I've probably been to Cades Cove 4 or 5 times, and it's really been different each time. Certainly to go in the fall when the autumn leaves are on is a good time to go. Also in the summer and the spring would be a good time to go as well. And certainly when in the winter, when the leaves are off, that part of the park's open. You can't go up to, on Clingman's Dome Road during the winter, but you can get over to Cades Cove. So with all the leaves off of the trees, you can see a little further. But it's just a very serene, beautiful place. However, if you go and you go in your car, be prepared. It's not going to take you like it would normally to go around 11 miles. You may be in there 4 or 5 hours because people stop and look at things, not just at the pull-offs and the parking areas, but also just on the actual road itself, particularly if there's any wildlife, particularly bear, then you'll get a sort of a bear traffic jam, if you will, from people wanting to stop and check out the bears. They do on Wednesdays, and I want to say Saturday mornings, I think up till 10 a.m. or maybe up till noon, they block off the 11-mile loop road to car traffic, and so people can actually take their bicycles or walk on foot during those days. Which the next time my family goes back, I think that's what we'll do, is we'll probably either walk the 11 miles or rent bikes, because while we were not in any kind of hurry or on any schedule and had basically blocked off, the whole afternoon to go to Cades Cove, for a lot of people, I'm sure if they were trying to, make a schedule, they were on a schedule, then trying to drive the loop road could be a little frustrating because they see 11 miles and it ends up taking them a long time. It's so weird trying to shave in front of this computer screen because everything's sort of backwards, and it makes it hard to maneuver the razor. It would take me a little bit getting used to it. Probably been better to just have the camera on, but used a little mirror for shaving. By the way, so we just released episode 2 of the Take Care Men podcast. Let me rinse off and I'll come back and we'll finish up the shave and I'll talk more about the podcast. Okay, so rinsed off there, good shave. Still getting a lot of that good scent, the sage, the pine, the honeysuckle, touch of the blackberry. Usually these the splashes, this is a great splash from Maol Grooming, and usually these splashes have a little bit of a different scent. I mean, obviously same scent, but a little different in how it unfolds. Getting a little bit of an alcohol burn. Okay, so I'm getting, honestly, more of everything. More of the sage, definitely getting the blackberry more here, and the pine, and more of the honeysuckle. So the honeysuckle's stronger in the splash to me than it is. But this is certainly evocative of many parts of the South. Like this smells like home to me. So this is wonderful. Like, I really like the splash. This is great. The scent on the soap is great, but the scent on the splash is amazing. Like, it's right where I would hope it would be in terms of scent profile. Here's a giveaway for you. So, and I know I'm sort of slow getting a couple giveaways out in the mail to folks who've won recently. But if you can see, I've not done any videos lately, and that's because I've been donating or dedicating so much time to the Take Care Men Mental Health podcast, which I started with the opinionated Brit, Andy Wilmer. He has a channel here on YouTube where he does shaving videos. And also in episode 2, we did an interview with Garrett Smallwood, who's the Shaving Disciple, here on YouTube. I'll link both of their channels here, and also link to episode 2 and episode 1 of the podcast. So the giveaway that I'm going to do in this video is if you listen to the podcast, episode 2, because we don't have it in video format right now. We do have the first one, but not the second one. Listen to that episode 2. If you could comment below what Garrett Smallwoods, the shaving disciple, what his favorite genre of scent is and the specific artisan's version of that genre that he likes. If you could put that in there. Also, put the answer to the last trivia question he and I answered, which is the name of a particular city or town. It's part of the quiz trivia game at the end that Andy did for us. But if you put that below in the comments after listening to the podcast episode, then I will draw from among those who commented, and I'm going to give you the Lakewood Soap Company Smoky Mountain Rain soap and the balm. So this is not CONUS only. This would go to internationally as well because it's a balm, so we can ship it anywhere. So yeah, good shave there. Went much better than I expected sitting in front of the computer here, even though it's a little hard to see and I'm not in front of a sink, but thought it would be fun to do it this way, and got a little green light going to reflect the, where did the lid go? The Cades Cove soap and the Cades Cove splash from Maol Grooming. So, hope you enjoyed watching this video. Please do check out the Take Care Man Mental Health Podcast. Our goal there is try to increase, conversation around men's mental health, try to sort of change the stigma around it, increase men's ability sort of to reach out to each other, help each other out, but also to seek professional help. And also, one of our goals is just to make employers more sensitive to issues around mental health, and also see where that there is equal funding for mental health issues and physical health issues. Because the last thing you need to have to think about when you decide to get help is how you're going to pay for it. So we're really big on focus on trying to advocate for mental health services being funded as well as physical health services are. So as always, thanks for watching, and until next time, take care, man.